Are you guys ready for a brand new January action movie? We all know those are where all the good action movies go, right? Let's hop on over to the review. What is going on, my fellow film fans? It is Let's Be Real with Brad. Today in the channel, I want to talk about the first wide release of 2022, the brand new spy film called The 355. The 355 is co-written and directed by Simon Kinberg, and it stars Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Bing Bing Fan, Diana Kruger, and Lupita Nyong'o. The film is about a top-secret weapon that falls into mercenary hands. A wild-card CIA agent joins forces with 3 international agents on a lethal mission to retrieve it while staying a step ahead of a mysterious woman who's tracking their every move. I'm not gonna lie to you guys when I say that I was not looking forward to this film in the slightest, considering that it is the first wide release of the year in January, where most of the bad movies come out. Then you add Simon Kinberg in the mix as the director, who has written some great scripts like Sherlock Holmes, X-Men Days of Future Past, but then he has written terrible films like X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Apocalypse, and another X-Men movie called X-Men Dark Phoenix. On top of all that, there were no early screenings for critics like myself could attend, so I had to pay to watch it at the Thursday preview showings to see it, and let me tell you, it was not worth it. The 355 is a significant failure of the spy genre from all across the board because the film takes itself way too seriously, considering it's generic and tasteless. My biggest issue with this film is how boring this movie is. A significant chunk of this movie is characters sitting in a room talking about nonsensical, irrelevant things that don't matter to the overall story. Our lead characters are trying to prevent a catastrophic World War III scenario from happening. It sounds like a typical spy James Bond film, which the film makes an awful reference to, by the way. It sounds like it could be a fun time, but instead, it decides to be a very uninspired and boring action movie. There was never a moment where I thought the world could end, as it felt like there were no actual stakes. The screenplay is so messy and incoherent that I had difficulty figuring out what was going on for most of the film. The story is generic and structured in the laziest, shoehorned way possible. The dialogue is noticeably bad, where all the conversations feel so forced and unnatural. Every joke was poorly delivered, and I was shocked that this film had any to begin with. Another major issue I have with this film is the direction. I found it quite terrible, as most of the shots in this film are so poorly composed. All the action sequences range from average to I can't even tell what is going on. It is due to the film using so many quick, choppy cuts that it doesn't allow the film to breathe. Another example is with the dialogue scenes, as they have the worst editing known to man. I couldn't help focusing on how many cuts there would be in that particular scene instead of being invested in the scene itself. The cinematography is quite bland, as it looks like a more expensive, bland action television show you would find on primetime television. This film does have a few positives, starting with the performances. Our lead actresses in the film did a solid job considering how bad the script was by delivering competent performances. Jessica Chastain and Diana Kruger gave the best performances in the film. I thought they all had pretty good chemistry together, and I really enjoyed them when they were working together. All these actresses have proven to be excellent in other films, so it is very disappointing that this film didn't use them to their full potential. I did find some moments of the film to be quite alright, especially in the second half, which was watchable as the art auction scene. The last positive I have with this film is the film's last third. I found the interrogation capture scene before the third act finale was the best scene, driving the emotional stakes as high as it possibly could. The third act featured the most somewhat engaging action sequences that were somewhat interesting, as I felt if the film featured more of these kind of action sequences, the film would have been so much more better. Overall, the 355 is another boring, uninteresting, generic spy movie that had so much potential to be a slick, entertaining movie, but it fails miserably in almost every way. This film feels incomplete and rushed as it focuses on setting itself up as this franchise with sequels to come instead of focusing on its own story. I will admit that I would love to see a sequel with the same cast, but add good writers and a good director. For that, I think you should save your money and skip this one altogether. I am giving the 355 a 4 out of 10. Thank you all so much for checking out my review, as I want to know down below in the comments section, what are your favorite female-led action films? Before you check out of this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you want to, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following review.